Hi, my name is Thomas Jaeger and I haven't released a lot of videos lately, and it's been a couple of years since my last video, and I figured on Thanksgiving afternoon I'm gonna record something I wanted to say for quite a while, and this will be my first video after being off for a few years. And it's a topic that I think a lot of people might be interested in, and it's really about AI, in the general use of AI in software development. So basically, I believe that AI is a tool, and architecture is a vision. And what I mean by that is simply, if you have been in this industry for a few years, you notice that there are a lot of themes and techniques coming over the years, and then they're going. And AI in the last 12 months, I would say, it has been amazing on my end. I've been using AI for, I would say, a good last 12 months. And what that means is I use it as a tool, and I'm still using it as a tool. However, if you're using AI for generating your source code, doing that, AI becomes more or less out of control. What I mean by that is, if you're using AI to do everything, meaning from an idea all the way to writing your source code, I guess they call this vibe coding nowadays. Even if you do spec-driven development, which means you're creating a specification for how your AI prompting will work and what are the laws that AI should adhere to comply with your idea of creating the software. And so even with those guardrails in place, the key is, and this is something I probably going to have another video about, is in general, when you think about it, software development, I would say 20% is really about writing the source code. The other 80% is everything else when you create software. So that means your interactions with people, the problem you're trying to solve, understanding the problem, and everything else that goes with it, including the requirements, your infrastructure, and then coming up with an idea or solving the problem. It's not writing the source code. Source code, like I said, it's about 20% of your time. And so in that 20%, you can definitely use AI to help you. And so, coming back to the original topic, by the way, I'm out here in Northern California visiting some family for Thanksgiving, and I have some time, and I figured, why not use this as an opportunity to do my video after being off for a couple of years. So when you use AI, use it as a tool. However, when you're creating the solution, when you come up with the overall idea how everything else needs to be combined, that is overall how you construct your solution. So as an architecture, you're using multiple components to build your solution. And so if you think about it, when you're trying to solve a problem, you have multiple components. If you're building your architecture so that each component is replaceable, right? That's another topic I wanted to go in the future, is build architectures to be replaceable and composable rather than reusable. Then that means each component that you're creating in your solution, in your architecture, should allow you to replace it or rewrite it. And if you pick any of your components in your architecture and you use AI for that purpose, that means you can use a tool like Grok, ChatGPT, Sonnet, Claude, you name it, whatever tool you're using. When you're prompting for solving a problem within this particular component, then AI can help you and stay within that guardrail. So as you use the tools like AI and your architecture is the vision, without the vision you can't really have a solution, even if you use AI. And like I said, AI is a tool, and use it accordingly to the best of your abilities. Yeah, so I've been seeing this the last few months where AI is used to the extreme, where there's a lot of vibe coding initially, then there's spec-driven development. But people seem to forget that, like I said earlier, 80% of your efforts will be not writing the source code. It will be everything but the source code. 20% will be you writing your source code. So you really think about it, you can only improve really the 20% of writing the source code using AI as a tool. And it can do a great job with that, no matter what LLM you're using. However, the other 80% is, and before you even start any sort of project, if you're starting a greenfield project or if you're improving an existing system, without that vision that comes to your mind when you walk around like this, when you're taking a shower, when you have conversations with a friend, these sort of ideas come not necessarily when you're sitting in front of a computer, but you're coming up with these solutions that would make the whole human process come to shine, right? And it's not just AI when you're using tools, you're using many other ways to find a solution. It could be a drawing board, it could be a whiteboard, a simple sticky notes. It could be simple conversations with a friend or your colleagues. So the ideas that you're getting to solve a problem many times come outside of, or when you're away from the computer. So then when you have ideas to solve a problem, you're becoming or getting a vision on how or what this could look like once you created this complete solution. AI cannot do this. It cannot make the connection between completely different industries, vertical markets, but they're all sharing typically similar problems, because what you're creating at the end, let me turn around here, what you're creating at the end is really something that other people will be using. It is not ever your solution being used by other machines. Yes, other machines can, or other systems can use part of this. They can be connecting other systems, but at the very end, it will be human people. It will be the people that you're building this solution for. It will be people who will be enjoying your vision coming to life. So my point is, use AI where you can in those 20% where you're writing the code, roughly. And then even control the source code that's being created by defining your architecture in multiple components that can be replaced. If you're zooming into those components in your solution, then within that component, it could be maybe, I don't know, the way you're storing data in AWS or in Azure. It could be how you're writing your repository pattern, right? Within that repository and how you're storing your data within that single component, as long as it's behind interfaces that you can easily replace with something else, then yeah, let AI help you, guide you, jumpstart you if you have to, or use an existing repository. Let it take an analysis what this repository is doing right now, if it is specifically designed to store data. Other parts could be how you're creating your domain model. If you're doing domain-driven design, your domain model itself is a potentially big component, right? How do you slice that up? There's multiple ways of doing this. So anyways, my point is, again, vision is key. Your architecture is really what you envisioned coming to life, and that imagination AI cannot do, right? You're the one who is conducting all of these different parts into one cohesive solution. And so architecture is a vision, AI is a tool, nothing but that. Anyways, I hope this kind of makes sense. And if not, either way, I don't really care. I just want to get it off my chest. I heard so much about AI and it's going to replace all these different jobs. So my rant here today is AI cannot replace the human vision, the human imagination. And so, but use it, like I use it every day, wherever you can, right, where it makes sense. So I hope you enjoyed this. I'll talk to you in my next one. Bye.